It's a busy week for earnings, but what will these results tell us? Alphabet, Tesla and French fashion giant LVMH are all on the earnings calendar in the next couple of days, and a lot of the biggest names have kept estimates for this quarter low, saying uncertainty around tariffs and US government policy have made this earnings season exceptionally tricky to predict. Russ Mould is investment director at AJ Bell. Russ, do you think some of that guidance has edged a bit too much on the side of caution?
I think management will always be happy to be cautious, and they certainly won't want to do anything that makes a rod for their own back and gives the market an excuse to beat them with it. We've already had nearly 40 members of the S&P 500 report for this quarter, and we're in the standard 75 to 80% positive surprise range, and equally the fairly standard 15 to 20% negative surprise range. So at the moment, at least, management look to have pitched it about right.
On Wednesday, we've got big tech names, including Alphabet and also Tesla, which is under a lot of pressure to get its robotaxis working. What to expect?
Yeah, I think Tesla's an interesting one. Of the Magnificent Seven, only three of them have actually outperformed the S&P 500 this year, and Tesla is down with Apple, pretty much tail end Charlie. I think we have seen some slightly better numbers from Tesla in terms of European and UK deliveries, which is a start. But as you see, the valuation includes a huge amount for robotics, robotaxis. And, I'm sure Mr. Musk will do a good job of bigging those up and telling us what developments are coming. But whether they will move the dial immediately in terms of profits is a separate matter altogether.
As you mentioned, Alphabet has been trailing its competitors as well. What news are you expecting there?
Yeah, again, I think, people will be looking for a return on AI investment as much as anything else. That's the theme that tripped up the stock a little bit. It started to recover and then tailed off again. They'll also be looking at what the advertising market is doing and how Google is responding to that. We've seen some very wild and depressing statements in some ways from established advertising players like WPP. I'm sure there'll be a hope that, the Google and those will be stealing their breakfast.
More broadly, Russ, is this going to be the quarter when we start to see US tariffs cut into corporate margins?
Well, it's a good question, given that, the Liberation Day deadline was put back to July, now to August, and we've got Ryanair's chief executive, Michael O'Leary, for the Irish airline, saying that he thinks that deadline could slip to the 1st of September, the 1st of October, until deals get done, particularly with the EU. I wouldn't want to bet that uncertainty will be lifted. So again, you'd expect management teams to be relatively cautious, not give too many specific forecasts if they can avoid it. So again, they don't give markets an excuse to beat them in 3 months' time. And also because, in all honesty, their crystal ball is probably not much better than yours or mine in some ways as to what's going to come out of the White House next.
Talking of tariffs, President Trump keeps threatening to hit the pharma sector. AstraZeneca have clearly been listening. They're spending $50 billion to expand manufacturing in the US. Are we going to see more of that in the sector?
That is very much what President Trump is looking for, not just in the pharmaceutical sector. He who pays the piper can at least influence the tune to some degree. And I'm sure that's influenced AstraZeneca's thinking. And Pascal Soriot, his chief executive, publicly frustrated with the UK government for not helping provide some funding for a manufacturing facility in Liverpool, has now taken his money elsewhere. And again, you can understand why, given the pressure that President Trump is talking about applying to that industry. I'm sure others will be having very similar thought processes right now.
You mentioned Pascal Soriot's frustration. How worried should Britain be that one of its biggest companies is doing this?
I think there are two arguments here. One, it clearly is disappointing that a major investment is going to the United States, and particularly the state of Virginia. Two, AstraZeneca is paying out billions of dollars in dividends. So it's not. Some people will say, well, why should we give it £90 million to build a manufacturing facility when it can thoroughly afford to do it itself?
That was Russ Mould of AJ Bell. Don't forget, you can watch more videos on Reuters.com.